Welcome to Quora Anonymous. If this is your first time and you like the video, please like and subscribe. If you would like to read along, turn on closed captioning with the 3 dots in the upper right corner. Now, let's begin. What are hidden secrets about cruise ships? I've never been to a US cruiser, although many of the biggest ones are built here in Finland. And I'd never ever tell any real secrets at European cruise ships, but here are some less known facts instead. It's true that many sailors, deck officers, restaurant guys, hotel guys, entertainment guys etc. have both land families and ship families on cruise ships. There are usually lots more hidden spaces and corridors than what an average passenger ever sees. It is possible, and many times required in your training, to know how to travel from bow to stern by never setting foot in public spaces. You can go 200 meters under the water line by walking from the main engine room in the back of the ship to the food freezer storing spaces in the front of the ship. Spaces that in any way could be reached by a random passenger have code lock doors, and the codes are changed at least monthly using some method that is used only on that specific ship, so no, you can never guess what the code currently is. Ships sailing in the Baltic Sea region have to meet tough requirements, like Ice Class Super A1, meaning they don't need an icebreaker helping them during winter. These ships never leave the port until there is a certain amount of specially trained crew members on board, certified to use and command a lifeboat for 150 persons each. These requirements are regulated by law using the SALAS, Safety of Life at Sea, system, and the ship and personnel must pass tests randomly done by a outside regulating company/authority like Det Norsk Veritas. Most of the crew also have a training under their belt, and in case of an emergency everyone knows their positions and what they are supposed to do, and where to go immediately. The crew almost never use money when in need of services from fellow crew members. These services are most often paid with a carton of cigarettes, or a 24-pack of beer etc., which the crew can buy monthly at a very low price. Under the bridge of the ship there are luxurious suites with sauna facilities for the use of the ship's owner and their guests. They randomly use these spaces, so there's a good chance that the occasional crew member gets to go to a night party there that some officer throws every now and then. The generators of the ship are usually powerful enough that they could inland use drive all the power for a big ice rink/arena. Let's think at the 400 to 500 amps that are many times used to feed all the AV equipment in the nightclub alone. And remember that there are lots of other restaurants as well. Your food, especially if you eat in banquet, is usually cooked in a continuously rolling line oven which can be some 50 meters long. Most of the crew have beepers with them, so they can quickly reach any other crew members using the ship's internal telephone/intercom system. So these are some of the so-called secrets. But of course no one will tell you the real secrets. Well, most of the secrets are covered in other answers. I'm revealing few important ones. Racism in recruitment. Everyone in navigation and engineering departments are whites, especially from European countries. And employees in service and maintenance roles, cooks/chefs/bartenders/waiters/stewards etc. are mostly from Asian/African/South American countries. This is because guests/passengers in cruise are families or relatives of European or any white-skinned business tycoon, mafia don, political body or any VIP. They feel pissed off as their ego hurts when they get to know we are in a ship which is being captained by an Indian or any Asian or. So, if it happens like this, the cruise shipping company will face unknown consequences leading to losses. This is a human rights violation. Gambling in casinos. Peddling of contraband/narcotics, drugs. Human trafficking/prostitution. Over-interaction between staff and guests. This is prohibited according to company policies, but still things happen. Fast promotion and very good performance appraisals of women seafarers, so you can understand what is going on. There's a lot I have read about on the internet, based on your question. The crew parties hard after hours, however, their shifts are very long, lots of drinking, sex, you name it. I've read stories from crew members who say they have their homeland romance, and then they have their cruise ship romances. Not saying it's right, but they are out at sea for at least 6 months at a time or more. Lower class crew members basically eat the leftovers from the passenger food daily. Officers have it better. Crew quarters for the lower class workers are on the lower decks. From what I read, they are kinda squeezed into small rooms with multiple bunking. Nothing like what the quest rooms are. Of course, officers have it much better. There are areas of the ship that are for the crew only, and they have their bar for entertainment. Not the glamorous life, like it may seem. Most of the workers don't get paid much at all, and rely on tips for a large part of their compensation. That's just some of the things I remember reading about. Oh yay, one last thing. Crew is forbidden from engaging in any type of socializing or relations with the guests. Strictly customer service, and that's it. I don't know if this is a secret really, but most of the staff and officers are in sexual relationships with other crew members. The officers, many of them married, pair up with the dancers, or whoever the prettiest girls on board happen to be. Staff members with staff members, or crew members. And a lot of the time we fall desperately in love, for a while. For crew members, relationships on board are strangely intense, both love affairs, where you feel all the emotions of a long-term relationship in a few short weeks, and friendships. You bond with people fast and often know them more intimately than friends you've known for years on land. I haven't worked on the ships for 13 years now, but I still count my ship colleagues, who I haven't seen in some cases for 13 odd years, as among my closest friends. Even if we only worked together for a few months, the bond formed was intense. It's really a bit like living in a soap opera. I'm head over heels, in love with Officer A, who's married with a wife back home, who says he loves me more than life itself, but who spends the evenings I'm on duty cruising the disco for pretty passengers, and who broke up with my boss about 2 months earlier. But that's okay, because my boss is now having an affair with one of the musicians, with the occasional drunken fling with the cute barman. So, when you look at the crew members, all immaculate uniforms and professional smiles, now you know. There are very distinctive hierarchies of rank, like the military. Engineering are professional seamen and very well trained. Staff positions are very coveted, they allow full access to the whole ship. Deck positions are nautical in nature, usually unseen by guests. Younger mates monitor control of the ship underway frequently, while deck officers are off watch. There is a large industrial laundry operating 24 hours a day, usually staffed with Chinese crew, called the Chinese Laundry. There are usually illegal corner stores that operate below deck that sell cigarettes and other sundries for crew that work late hours. There are rules in place about hooking up with guests. If you chose to do it and get caught, you are fired. If you're known for hooking up casually with guests, it can kill your chances with the regular crew. It's frowned on as kind of seedy. You have no secrets on a ship. It's like living in the smallest small town ever. If you hook up with someone after a night out, it's very hard to be discreet. Everyone knows by morning. Here are 3 cruise ship secrets that I found most surprising. 1. Cruise employees use secret codes. There are some things passengers are better left unknowing. For those incidents, cruise ship employees use codes when communicating. 30 signals a mess that needs to be cleaned. PVI is a public vomiting incident. Alpha is a medical emergency. Bravo is a fire. Kilo requires all employees to report to their emergency stations. Echo means the ship is running adrift. Not good. Oscar signals a passenger has gone overboard. 2. There's a zero tolerance policy for crew and passenger hookups, but staff plus staff romance is very common. Things are very different today than the Love Boat era. Staff are strictly forbidden to have romantic relationships with guests. The penalty for violating this is the chicken or fish treatment, meaning, do you want chicken or fish on your flight home? Haha. The cruise line will put you on a flight as soon as possible, and that will likely be the end of your cruise service career. This can be particularly taxing for cruise ship staff, as passengers get very handsy after a few at the Lido bar. Relationships between staff is very common, however. Below decks, there's a bustling social scene that guests will never see. This brings us to point #3. Below passenger decks is a whole nother world. I don't think it's a secret that cruise staff works extremely hard to please guests. and cruise ships are based outside of the US, avoiding the protection that domestic service employees receive. It's not uncommon for staff to work 100 hours in a week. When not working, they need to let their hair down. Cruise lines don't want them letting loose alongside guests, for obvious reasons, so they offer a relatively vibrant scene below passenger decks. One former employee describes it as follows: "Let me put it this way, I now live in Las Vegas. We have 7 of the 10 highest grossing nightclubs on the planet Earth. Vegas ain't got nothing on crew parties." Not secret, just a fact of life. Cruises are expensive, and mostly just the upper class. Many kids are spoiled and unaware. You can often tell who really earned their money, and who just married into it. The irony, the ones who worked for it are often far more respectful. The ones who were given their money often mouth the $HOLES. A secret that no other sponsors have given. In most roomstay industries, housekeepers are low paid, low skills, and seen as having low education. On a cruise ship, many of them have college education, and they make quite decent money. In the bottom deck areas, below any passenger area, there is a deck with a giant line painted along the wall. If the ship is filling with water, and it reaches that line, it is the point of no return. The ship will sink. That line is much lower than most would have thought, lol. 1. They are the most pollution of any tourist activity. Ships damage the seafloor. Most dump their waste just in the sea or river, which is damaging even more. 2. Rooms are small, food is not fresh, and lack of space. There is nowhere to go, just a jumbo massive hotel on water. Fingers crossed the toilets don't get clogged. It hurts the cities the cruises go to. The cities get filled with a horde of people they cannot humanly serve. The streets get clogged, service worse, but not a lot of tourist money stays in cities. Look into #STOPDISNEY campaign, Dubrovnik and its new restrictions. Life in Venice. Dubrovnik was threatened to be taken off the UNESCO list, so the local government got scared, and they restricted the number of cruise ships allowed per diem. Would also say the helipads, most amazing place of the ship. You can go up there and be pretty much alone with people you love, which is awesome. You can stand at the Titanic spot, and yes, it's as great as in the movie. Just wide ocean everywhere, seeing the waves, nothing but water. It's magical at night as well. Also, what a lot of people don't know is that the ships have stabilizers which makes them only turn horizontally 1 degree. Captains often don't use the function at night, so people sleep better by being rocked to sleep. If you made it this far, you owe it to yourself to subscribe.